Greetings from afar. Today's discussion is a little different. Today's discussion is a little personal. It is about me. In some ways, it is quite serious. Although, for me personally, because I've been dealing with it for so long. That's my cat back there. Because, and as you can see, we're not doing this outside like usual. Because I've been dealing with this for so long, I have acclimated to the situation over the last 10 or 11 years. It goes back 11 years. 11 years it started. And then about 10 years ago, there was an incident at Starbucks where a man I did not know proceeded to kill me. Obviously, I'm still alive, so he failed. He is a very dangerous, unstable, deeply psychotic individual who is still around today. And so that was in 2015, on July 5th. That was the day that this man tried to kill me at Starbucks in Kitsilano, Vancouver, at a Starbucks location. Now, over the last 10 years, it's hard to imagine the period of time. It's hard to imagine the tenacity and the willpower it takes for someone to want to continue to kill you and to destroy your life. You know, out of all the things you could do with your life, all the things you can accomplish, to be focused on destroying a man's life and to try to kill him repeatedly, it takes an amazing amount of, I would say, derangement. I would say sociopathic inclination, intentional psychotic snap. Now, I've thought of many ways to discuss this. This is very complicated. It's very long. I don't know how much we're going to get through in this particular episode. These maybe a series of episodes or maybe just a couple. It's not an extension of my work, but it is a personal thing, and it needs to be told, and I'm the only person who can tell it. I am the only person who can tell it while I'm still alive. I'm still alive, so I should talk about it. I have, so if anybody knows me, for a lot of people who know me, I talk about very serious subjects, topics that are esoteric, that are spiritual, that are very spiritual, I talk about incarnation, rebirth. I talk about star people, right? And then I get into some heavier stuff. We get into climate weapons. Most of the stuff I discuss and share is quite esoteric. It's exotic. It's not for everybody. And, that's my access to society is quite limited, and it's good. I'm happy with it. I have no issue with our group, which is a good group. I like the group, and I've been doing this since 2007. I woke up in 2005, and I started talking in 2006, and I went public on YouTube in 2007. And then this channel was 2009. So 2006, it's almost been 20 years that I have been talking about things nobody wants to talk about. Back then, when you talked about, 20 years ago when I spoke about star people and the UFO disclosure and all of that alternative stuff, some would say, conspiracy theory. It was a very different environment, 2006. But then there was the social media explosion, and everything changed. Access to information changed. And I have continued to still talk about pretty serious stuff, while most of the people, the UFO subject is completely gone, or it's accepted in society. No one's really talking about star people anymore, right? No one. A lot of people now have a lot of the serious talkers. They've become more mainstream. They talk about things that are more mainstream, more acceptable, less conspiracy. Back in those days, 20, 25 years ago, there were some very heavy hitters who risked their career and their degrees and their reputation to come up with some very heavy stuff, which today is just common knowledge, right? Today it's like, so what? Right? Aliens, yeah, but so what? But before, they were killing people. They were killing people who talked about aliens, right? So people don't know that because, a person today who's 20 years old, they have no idea what it was like. So I've gone through quite a bit of that. I still talk about some very serious things. And, but over the last 10 years, there have been a group of members of organized crime who have decided that they don't like me and that they want to see me dead. And so today I thought I would start. Again, we're going to see how much I can get through. But today I thought I would start to share at least about, the 10 assassination attempts on my life. And again, it's very serious, but I've been dealing with it for many years, and I might have a more lighthearted approach. Maybe that's good for my own state of mind. You might think it's more serious. It is serious, but I don't want to get into the seriousness of it, because then it's quite ridiculous. And there's a number of things that happened during those assassination attempts. The assassination attempts would follow other attempts to destroy my life that failed. Let me turn this off. So so I hope you can follow this, but this group, starting with this person in 2015, who I call Andy. Andy is a gang member who belongs to organized crime. And he's I guess, over the years I've figured out, I don't know, because I don't know the guy, that he's high ranking and he can control other people. He can tell people what to do and they have to do it. Once if you're a lower member in the gang, you have to do what they say. You can't question. You can't question your senior officer, right? So he is senior. He's probably been a gang member for 30 years. So he tells somebody to do it and they have to do it. Go to this place, do this, stay there for 45 minutes, and they don't question it. If you're a member. Now some of the members have jobs, maybe all of them have jobs. So sometimes there's a requirement of a gang, you have to have a job, right? And then when they call you, okay, I get off work at 6, okay, I want you to be at this location at 6:30, stay there until 7:30. Bring your camera, record this, right? They don't question it, they just do it. So I want you to understand the background to it. So the Andy, he has this influence, and he has friends, all his associates, who are probably high ranking. They have their influence. So you're talking about a lot of people. Okay, we're talking about hundreds of people that they have access to who can do their dirty work. I am one people. There's hundreds of people. And that's the advantage of a network and organized crime. It's organized and they're criminals. Okay? Now, so the members have jobs. Some of them are married. Some of them have children. Some of them work at a big company. They'll work at UPS. Some of them work at for the mail company, like Canada Post. They're all over the place. Some members, right? Some are juniors and some are seniors. Within the criminal organization, there are hardcore criminals, and then there's a lot of members who just like to be part of a group, and they have access to other members. So they might start a business, right? And but they're part of this group, and the group is obligated to protect your member. If I'm a member and I start a coffee company and I'm having problems with a couple of employees, then I can ask my higher members if you can help out, and they'll come out and talk to those people or follow them around or hurt them, shoot up their house. Once you're a member, right? By the same token, if the group needs something from you, then you have to also get involved. And if you're in a group long enough, you eventually start your own company, start doing business, right? But you're still a member of this organized crime. You may not be a hardcore criminal anymore at some point, right? At some point, a criminal will open up a restaurant. They'll open up a restaurant, coffee. They'll make a coffee business. They'll hire staff, but they're connected to organized crime. So you got some kind of protection, but you got this group, and you're a former member or a current member. You got all these friends. Your member might start a security company. There's one particular person, he's a security company. He provides security to businesses, but he's also a member of the organized crime. So figure, when you start to put it all together, it gets kind of complicated, because how can you give me security if you're part of the people who are breaking into my place, who you just gave all of my passwords to, right? So that's why organized crime is very serious. It's a very serious thing, and in my belief, it is the duty of the police to deal with anything to do with organized crime. So this is the baseline. Anything to do with organized crime is the statutory duty of the police. In Canada, we have the RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and they'll deal with some of it. But there are specialized agencies in Canada that deal with organized crime, what they call serious crimes. Now, unfortunately, those agencies usually deal with the big stuff. They deal with drug trafficking, human trafficking, car theft, right? There's a lot of car thefts all over the world, but in Canada, they're shipping cars to Africa by the boatloads. So those are huge operations. There's a lot of people. There's weapons. So the police are focused on that. Police are focused on drug trafficking. Now fentanyl is a big thing, so they're going after fentanyl traffickers. So why is that relevant? Because I am just a guy. I'm an alternative speaker, teacher, shaman who wants to educate and share his knowledge with a select group of people. So there's no big operation, right? There's no huge amount of money. There's no drugs or guns or not lives at stake. Is only one. So on the scale of importance, I am at I don't exist. I mean, I'm at the bottom. So that's one of the issues. The other issue is that early on, when I went to the police, the RCMP, I have no access to the specialized agencies. When I contacted the RCMP did not believe that organized crime would take any interest in me or would even know who I am. And so they didn't believe me. So this will be a running theme in the discussion, is that the RCMP did not believe anything I said. And if you know me, who I am, I kept saying it because I've hit a wall. So I'm going to keep talking until I get through. So I continued to say it, and it's true because it was true, right? You would not call the police to make up something serious. So it was true. And I even said in the beginning, it sounds a little strange. I know it sounds absurd. I know, but it is true. But they couldn't see it. They didn't see all the pieces. They didn't believe it. And they dismissed it. And they dismissed all of my complaints. And they didn't think it was serious. Meanwhile, what I'm dealing with is quite serious. Now, most of the stuff they started with, Andy started with, what they started with was spreading rumors. This is back in 2014. This is back when I was still in Vancouver. They started spreading rumors that I was a serial killer, that I was a pedophile and a rapist, stuff of this nature. This is Andy. This is a guy I don't know. It's back in 2014. This is about a year before the first assassination attempt. A year. So, and I would go to Starbucks. I was a loyal fan of Starbucks. I've been a loyal fan of Starbucks since 1989, since it opened. I liked Starbucks. I went to Starbucks a lot, and I saw all their price increases. I was buying a cup of coffee, I think it was like 75 cents for a cup of coffee plus tax. And then it went to 95 cents plus tax, so it was about $1. And that the same cup of coffee today is $2.35 for your basic tall cup of coffee. Not the specialty, not a cappuccino or a cafe latte. So the coffee has gone up three times, 75 cents. Yeah, 3 times, 300%. Coffee has gone up. I still went to Starbucks. I'm just saying, even the prices went up, I was still there. And at the time, I was living in Kitsilano, which is a nice place in the west of Vancouver. It's near the ocean, right? It's near the Pacific Ocean. I'd often walk to the beach. And I used to go to the coffee shop on Broadway. And this guy Andy, was there with a bunch of his friends, a bunch of sociopaths. They would hang out at Starbucks on the patio. And these guys, they're gang members. They're gangsters. They got tattoos. They're muscular. They're bodybuilders, a lot of them. They have some of them look like they've been to prison a few times. They don't smile. I don't think Andy has ever smiled in his entire life. The guy I don't think he's ever laughed. He's a very cold, sad, miserable person who is infatuated with me. Andy is infatuated with me. Now, let me explain a little bit about Andy. I don't know him. I've not personally met him. I don't know any of his friends. I don't associate with gang members. I don't like gang members. They can do what they want, but it's got nothing to do with me. I have no interest in the gang business. I spend all my energy learning secrets of the universe, studying star beings and elves and secret teachings, and I share all that stuff. I publicly share it. My nature is I learn secrets and I share that to awaken, enlighten, make people feel that I'm crazier than they are. Right? This guy's crazier than me. I feel better. The gang world is like they have secrets and they keep secrets and they don't talk, they don't share. And everything they do is secret. And they live in a code of silence, right? What we did last night, nobody talks about. It's the complete opposite. What I'm saying, these people are the complete opposite of the type of person I am. So I would never associate with them. And they don't smile, they don't laugh, they got no heart, they can't love anybody. Andy has never loved anybody in his whole life. He doesn't know how to love anybody. He is a deeply disturbed individual, in my opinion. So I don't know him, I don't know his friends. I've never done anything to him. This is all relevant for everything that's gonna follow. I've never done anything to him. I've never said anything about him because I don't know him. I've never crossed paths. I've never looked at him funny. Nothing. Now, I would go to Starbucks. There were a couple of occasions I went to Starbucks and this guy, who I don't know his name, I was sitting in a sofa chair writing. I would go to Starbucks to write. I'm a writer. my career is writing, and I teach and I work to pay for my teaching and writing. I work. I don't care. I work a minimum wage job to pay for my writing and my teaching because I enjoy my writing and I enjoy my teaching. It's not the ideal lifestyle to have, but that's the way it's worked out. So I go there to write, and I would be writing. And I was writing in a sofa chair because all the tables were full, and there were two other chairs there, and Andy came and sat down one, and then his friend, his sociopath, sat in the other one. Now, these are very heavy. These are 250-pound tattooed criminals who kill people. So they came, sat down, and I'm busy writing. I remember the first time was really working on some. Back then, I had some really good ideas. I was younger. I was younger than I am now, and so he sat down. They sat down, and they're staring at me for a while, and then they say, "What are you doing?" Andy, this is Andy. "What are you writing?" I don't know the guy. He hasn't said anything, I said, "I'm just writing a story." "What's it about?" So there was this kind of interaction, "Is that what you do?" "You're right." So Andy, he has a very deep voice. It's a very unique, deep voice because of all the steroids. Done a lot of steroids. So this, he looks like some Hell's Angels biker gang. They're trying to have a conversation with me. This is their conversation. "What are you writing? What's it about? You come here a lot?" So I did my best to kind of avoid a conversation. And his friend sat there, and his friend said nothing. His friend looked like he just killed his parents. And then came into the coffee shop. He was like this, these guys, they're just out of a movie. So I don't know who he is. I have no idea. He never said who he is. I never said who I am. And then he left. And there was another time he came by my table. "What are you doing?" Right. "What are you doing? You writing?" That's the extent. I think that's the only conversations I've ever had with this guy who I don't know. Now, after that, and maybe I pissed him off, and I engage as a teacher. I engage people if I see somebody who has a potential or an interest in like what I talk about. I especially before, I used to engage people all the time. Wherever I am, if I happen to be at the coffee shop, I start engaging people. And in Vancouver, it's very normal. In most cities, it's very normal to have a conversation with people. A bigger city, it's easy. It's normal, right? So Vancouver, I grew up in Vancouver. I had many conversations with people, and nobody gets upset. And they know how to communicate. They know what they want. And people would approach me. So it was mutual because strange people would approach me and says, "I was guided to you." I often tell the story, I've shared it on my channel, of the woman who approached me on the railroad tracks. The railroad track. The railroad tracks were closed down, so there's no train. But this woman approached me and she says, "They told me to come see you," and I engaged. I helped her out. There are many experiences like that which I haven't talked about. Because there's so many, and they're all kind of strange, and sometimes you would think it's dangerous. Right, but I engage, so I took it. I always take it myself that if strange people are gonna approach me, I can approach people. I would approach them if I felt they are interested, or there was something there that was significant, or maybe I was guided in some way, right? Like a coincidence, or you meet somebody. So I would approach people. It's very normal. Young people, old people, whatever their race, it doesn't matter. So, because what happened, after those first few encounters with this guy, who I don't know, he decided that I was a serial killer, pedophile, and a rapist. Like, he concluded, like he believed. Now, maybe I talked to some young girls or something. Maybe I approached a young girl, or right? Maybe sometimes I would often write stuff. People would come to me. I write stuff down. You ever see me writing on my channel? I would write stuff down. This is right to explain something. Who knows? I don't know. What I'm saying, from my experience, it's very normal for me to reach out to people, and it's very normal for people to reach out to me in strange ways. And so I have always accepted, if they can do that to me, I can do that to them, right? But it does look strange, yeah. If I'm starting to talk about extraterrestrials to somebody, it does come across strange. Vancouver is not that bad. And for an intelligent person, nobody really cares. Unless you're doing something dangerous, unless you're threatening somebody or you're trying to kill somebody, then that's a concern, right? But anybody who knows me, if you've watched my channel, that's the way I engage people. The same way I engage the camera is the way I engage. I used to engage people, and maybe in the past I was a lot more intense. 10 years ago, I was probably a lot more intense. I've calmed down. I've gotten older. I think 10 years ago, again, you remember when I started 20 years ago, this stuff was all like repressed. All this knowledge was repressed. You could not talk about it. People did not know about it. So there was this, people like me, we were pushing to get this knowledge out. When I learned something, when I had an encounter with a star person, I mean, the difference between that meeting and society was like so far apart. I felt compelled to tell somebody. And that's what compelled me to go on YouTube, right? Because I'm not going to go down the street, yelling and screaming. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Which would happen, 50 years ago. That's what, for hundreds of years, for centuries, people, they would meet something and have a divine experience, and then they would be running down the street. They'd be the crazy guy. Hey, hear ye, hear ye. He is returning. I have seen him. I have seen him. Right. And then you get the prophets, right? The prophets saying the end of the world. I saw the end of the world. The world's going to shake and there's going to be a storm. So you don't want to get to that level. I never got to that level, but a lot of people did. What I'm saying is that when I had an experience, it shook me, and then I had to share it. And you often shared it with a lot of passion. If you watch some of the earliest videos, there's a lot of passion, excitement. Sometimes if they were serious, there would be anger. That's all normal. If you know anybody who wakes up, anybody who's been asleep and they wake up, they are angry, they are yelling, they are screaming, they are like a nutcase. That's what happens. If they can get through that phase, they'll get to the next phase, and then the next phase, and then what they'll do is they'll calm down, they'll get educated, they get more knowledge, they learn to communicate better, and then they become more professional and then maybe they got a channel or they have a book, right? But the process, I'm saying the process is like this crazy, oh my God, and then it comes down. But anyway, 10 years ago, I was not radical. But I must have done something. Like, let's just say I approached some young girls, right? And I started to talk about, he wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but as I say, I talked about extraterrestrials. I know a lot about hybrids. Back then I was talking about hybrids. There's a lot of hybrid. There's genetic engineering. So I was aware of a genetic engineering, and I'm looking at the new generation, and they've all been genetically engineered. Some are hybrids. Maybe I was talking about that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I can't say what I know, what I don't know, because I've had so many experiences. Some of them do look kind of strange, but there's nothing that says. There's nothing I have ever done that says I'm a serial killer. There's nothing I've ever done that says that I am a pedophile. And there's nothing that I've ever done that says I'm a rapist. And there's no evidence to support any of those beliefs. There's no evidence. Even I'm talking to a young person, that does not make me a pedophile or a rapist or a serial killer. Andy, bless him, he believed I was these things, and he's this dangerous guy who has a lot of influence, and you don't want to say no to Andy because he'll kill you. Because I didn't mention, and I found out later, that Andy kills people. He's a hitman in organized crime. He actually has killed a lot of people. That's what he does. So it's kind of strange. This hitman for the mafia is sitting at Starbucks looking for people to kill. I mean, it's very dangerous. I don't know why Starbucks even let these people in. I don't know why the police would allow this. Why would the police let this killer and his friends, who are all sociopaths, they traffic children, they sell drugs to teenagers, they got semi-automatic weapons. Maybe the store manager says, well, as long as he behaves, you can see them. They're trying to behave normal, right? But these guys, they look like they belong in a zoo. These are animals. They belong in a zoo, not even a jail. I would put them in a zoo, and we can all go watch them. They're dangerous people. They're sitting at Starbucks. Starbucks doesn't mind. Starbucks does not mind that these killers are here. Maybe they're thinking, Starbucks, well, they didn't do anything. They're behaving. As long as they behave, well, he's not behaving because they're harassing me. They're already harassing me. So Andy gets this belief that I am these things, and he starts telling everybody. And there's a network, right? In Kitsilano, it's a small community. He tells everybody. And he's telling he's like the preacher. He's got no purpose in life, When he's not killing someone, he's got no purpose. He doesn't know who he is. He's a loner. He's a murderer. He's a nobody. So he's got this, I've given them this purpose. He's using me. He's using me as a purpose now. I got a purpose. Now he's become the preacher. He's become the evangelist. The guy is a serial killer. Hey, look at the serial killer. Hey, he's a pedophile, man. Look at the fucking pedophile. And you don't want to say no to him because he will kill you. The people are obviously afraid of this guy. They knew about him. I didn't know about him. I just thought he was a loser. Well, he is a loser. Big time. So he's out there. I would come in. At one time I came in, and there was a lineup, and I was behind him. I was behind Andy. He's about, he's 5 foot wide and he's 5 foot tall. He's a hunk of And he walks like a penguin because he's got so much muscle. The steroids have just bloated him. He's like, so I'm walking behind him, and I'm a lot taller. He's about 5'6". At the time, he's probably in his mid to late 40s. He's not a young guy, right? And I'm a little bit older than he am. So he walks up to order his Americano, and he leans up to the girl and says, that guy's a pedophile. And then he takes his drink and he walks. He ignores me, right? He doesn't look me in the eye. You just slandered me. Like he's been doing it for months. Secretly. It's all secret. It's all like, all behind my back, right? Rumors, right? Rumors. And gossip, rumors. And people believe it. People in the community believe it. The community is very gullible. Whether they're gullible or afraid of him, they believe it. They don't need evidence. The community doesn't need any evidence. They're just like, oh my God. He talked to the girl, oh my God. So the barista, when I went to order my coffee, she's like sweating. She's like, yes? She believes it. These girls are in high school or just out of high school. She's like, you want a coffee? It scared the crap out of this poor girl. He's got no evidence at all. And she's scared of him, and now she's scared of me. She's scared of everybody. And then she tells all her colleagues, and every time I go to the coffee shop, they're like, right? And then this went on. I remember one time, this old Greek guy came in and sat down at Andy's table. He actually was sitting inside, which he never sits inside. He's always on the patio with his burner phones. He's got like 6 or 7 burner phones. People would come up to him and say stuff. He said, he's doing business at Starbucks. Starbucks doesn't mind. Starbucks doesn't mind that organized crime is at their restaurant and they're harassing me, who's their customer. Now, this old Greek guy comes in. They're inside. They're all sitting at this table, and they're all going. They're pointing. They're all looking. And the Greek guy looks like, he's probably high up there. He's probably some boss. Now, he believes I'm a pedophile, serial killer, and a rapist. Great. Now the whole gang, every fucking gang, is going to believe all this garbage. So it became more and more difficult to go to the coffee shop. So eventually it went on for a year. Why did it go on for a year? Because I said to myself, he's going to stop. He's going to come to his senses. I've said that for 10 years. Just so you know, 10 years. He's going to stop. He's going to come to his senses. It can't be this crazy. You got to be really crazy to maintain a false belief, which is a delusional belief. And then he's gone for a year. He is convinced, he's convinced. And he's convinced a lot of people. He's convinced a lot of people. They're all fucking delusional. Everybody is delusional. Everybody. There's no evidence. And I say that because there's no evidence. For example, serial killer. Let me just give you some of my logic. This is my logic. It's my thinking. Right? My thinking. Serial killer is somebody who kills people in a series. There's a pattern. So let's say you kill a 35-year-old woman, and then you kill another woman who's 35 years old, and you kill another woman who's 35 years old, and that's a series of killings. And that's where the term serial killer comes from. Or you're killing, men who like baseball fans. And he's a man and he's 40 years old and up. So there's another baseball fan. A series of killings is a serial killer. Okay? Now the police determine that. They say, well, we got 3 dead bodies and there's a pattern. Okay? I'm explaining this to you guys, but nobody else understands this, okay? No one else understands. The police do not understand it. And it goes the same for pedophile. Pedophile, you have to molest. It's the same pattern. You have to molest a child. Sometimes you have to molest 1 or 2 or 3 children, and then a psychiatrist has to diagnose you because pedophilia is a mental illness. So you can't say someone's a pedophile and then they've been diagnosed with this mental illness, right? It's a, what do you call it? It's whatever. It's a mental illness, but to be diagnosed, you have to molest children beforehand. Now, Andy is a psychiatrist. I didn't know that, but he's a psychiatrist, or he thinks he's a psychiatrist. He also thinks he knows everything about serial killings, I guess, but he's killed people, so I got to give him some credit with the killings. But the problem with the killings is you need serial killer. You have to kill. You can't kill one person. If you kill one person, you're a murderer, and you got to go to jail. You got to be investigated. You'll be investigated, and then they have to prove it, and then you go to jail if they can prove it. If they can't prove it, you're not a killer, right? Right? O.J. Simpson didn't do it, so he's not a killer. He was acquitted. So, if you kill a person, and let's say you kill someone similar, then that's 2 people. Then the police get involved. They say, well, we got a 35-year-old woman dead, and we got another 35-year-old woman dead in the same neighborhood, right, in Kitsilano. And then the police are going to say, there's probably going to be another one because it looks like a serial killer. And then there's another one. Then the police go, they're on alert. Then they'll go on television and they'll say, there's a serial killer in the neighborhood, 35-year-old woman, don't go out, don't go anywhere, don't go to the bar, because we've got this pattern. But to become a serial killer, you have to not only kill 3 people, you have to at least kill 1 person. So I'm saying I cannot be a serial killer because I didn't even kill 1 person. How can you project that I'm a serial killer? Unless, you got something wrong with you. I'm not a psychiatrist, but you have to have something very seriously wrong with you if you can convince people that I am a serial killer, or a rapist, which I haven't raped anybody, or I'm a pedophile, which I haven't molested any 10-year-old boys. To show me a video of me molesting a 10-year-old boy, and then you might have a case. And you still don't have a case because you still have to be diagnosed. You'd be a child molester, but you still have to be diagnosed as a pedophile. Anyway, that's my logic, but that's what they were doing. That's what they were saying. They believed it. This is where they're at mentally. They believe. When you believe in a false belief, that is a delusional belief, and that's into psychiatry. I'm not a psychiatrist. In my opinion, this is a psychiatric condition. Now, I'm saying that was 11 years ago. That situation has not changed. What I'm saying, those 3 things have not changed in 11 years. Have not changed in 11 years. Somebody who believes a false belief for 11 years and will do anything to destroy me based on those false beliefs, including trying to kill me. That's what we're dealing with. Now, the issue where it becomes a police issue is because these are members of organized crime. You see the complication? It's not just a crazy guy and his vigilante friends. These are members of organized crime. They're professional killers. They're professional thieves. You know, they know how to deceive the police. They know how to commit fraud. They know how to remove fingerprints. Break into your car. They know how to steal your car, your brand new Toyota. They know how to take it. They know they have the tool. They have an electronic tool to take it. You know, they don't care if your doors are locked. You have a security camera. They know the security company. They say, turn off the security cameras at this location between 1 and 2. And the guy will do it because he works. He's in part of the member. He's a member. He doesn't question it. So what I'm saying is, I am dealing with professionals. And there's any number of them. And as you will see, they've done a lot of terrible things. And what happened was, in July 2015, for the last month or two, I was struggling with how to deal with the situation. How do you deal with it? They won't stop talking, scaring everybody. Nobody will talk to me. They think I'm a serial killer. Women are afraid of me. You know, it's pretty isolating, right? It's very isolating. It's very alone. It's not true. And because it's a criminal organization, you can't really stand up to them because they'll kill you. They got guns. Andy has access to semi-automatic weapons, machine gun, grenades. He's got access to grenades. He's killed a lot of people. But I had to do something, and nobody would do anything. No one's ever gotten involved. Even the police. Later on, the police will not get involved. To this day, they won't get involved. To this day, the police will not get involved. I don't understand it. And the police have threatened to arrest me. They have put all kinds of things on my files. They've labeled me as a nut. They've threatened to arrest me numerous times, 12 times. They've put surveillance on me, right? To shut me up. They don't believe anything I've said. And later on, for many years, I didn't believe some of the things I said because the police told me it was all made up. They didn't believe it. And the police are the authority. At that time, I still respected the police. And I said, well, they think it's not real, then maybe it's not real. And it's all done secretly, so I have no real evidence. But as there was a period of doubt. A period of doubt, and it's like, geez, did I make all that up? And that's what the gangs do. That's what Andy does. They keep it all secret. But over the years, I've figured out how they work. I've accumulated a lot of pieces of evidence, and I figured it out. And I still can't convince the police. But the police, I don't respect the police anymore because the police have tried to destroy my life. I can't respect them. I can't trust the police. They're working for the benefit. Their actions now benefit organized crime, which is itself a crime, even if they don't intend it, even if they're not aware of it. If your action, it is a crime. If you enhance the laws, if you enhance the activities of a criminal organization, which we've established, right? The activity is to destroy my life with all of this, not only the gossip, but the other crimes, which we'll get into. If you enhance the activities of a criminal organization, that's a crime. And it's defined as for the if your action is for the benefit of organized crime. The police, not only the Starbucks employees and other people, but the police are actually benefiting. They're working for the benefit of organized crime. And it doesn't matter whether you know it or not, whether it's intentional or not, whether you know everything or not. It doesn't even matter if you commit a crime or they commit a crime. If a member of organized crime says to you, I want you to do something, and you do it, you've committed a crime. Even if you don't commit a crime, right? That's the law. So as we went on, and I studied the law, and I took people to court, I learned the law, okay? And everybody's committing crimes. But the police are targeting me. The police will never target, and the police won't touch Andy or his friends or his network. They won't touch him. So it was, July 5th, I believe, 2015. I went to Starbucks and I saw Andy there, and I said, okay, let's confront him. What's going on? Why do you keep calling me a pedophile? Why do you think I'm a serial killer? Because there's no evidence. Look, if I had done these things, I would go to the police myself. It's a terrible thing to hurt a child. Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy that I would hurt a child? You know, maybe I say things. I'm a writer. You know why I say all kind of crazy stuff? As a writer, because that's the creative process. You say stuff and you're playing a character. I'm running through a dialogue, and the guy's a villain, or he's an evil person. He's not going to say anything nice. He's swearing all the time. He wants to hurt people. He might say, I want to chop up your children. You know, that's not me. That's writing. As a writer, I don't know, maybe that's a whole different discussion. An artist, you know, as a writer, you have to run through the dialogue. You know, and you don't get, when you write a dialogue, you don't write the perfect dialogue. You don't know something. You don't know the voice of the character. So if the villain, if he's a villain, he's evil, you don't know the voice. So you have to brainstorm, right? You have to kind of try out stuff. Is he swearing? Is it, am I gonna fucking kill you? Or is he like, I'm gonna chop up your children, I'm gonna rape your wife? You know, you have to get into the character. Unfortunately, otherwise, you know, today there are a lot of movies that are terrible because you know, people are all want to be woke, pro this, pro that, anti this, anti that. So the villain can't be too evil, right? And the women have to be strong. I'm a strong woman. No, if the guy punches a woman in the face, she's gonna go down. In my script, if a guy punches a woman in the face, she is on the floor with a broken face. I'm not anti-feminist. I'm not abusing women. That's the story. The story is, you know, the guy clocks a woman, she goes down. A guy clocks another guy, he's going to go down too. So that's my storytelling. But most storytelling is the opposite, you know. Women can fight 100 guys, and the villains are all kind of like, they're kind of soft on the edges, you know. They're learning to be better. You know? I'm telling you, this guy for 11 years is a complete nut. He doesn't learn. He's not a happy person. He's not going to get in touch with his feminine side. He's not going to improve. He's not going to come to a realization. He's not going to have an epiphany. He's a nut. He's a danger to society. He's a danger to me. He should be arrested and thrown into prison. But the police won't do that because the police are protecting these people. The police have arrangements with organized crime. They have arrangements. I am not important. That's the other, what we said in the beginning. I am not important. I'm just one guy. Who cares? Who cares what happens to me? I'm a citizen. I'm a Canadian citizen, but who cares what happens to me, really? That's the conclusion after 11 years. The police do not care. They don't care about me. They don't even care. They don't care about you, you know? They care about their pension. They care about their pension more than they care about you or me. That's a sad reality. But I was saying, as a writer, I say all kinds of crazy stuff. Where I work, I say all kinds of crazy stuff. I shout things that are stupid. And sometimes it's not really offensive, but sometimes it's a little bit, that was weird. And people would say that to me, that, you know, Paris is weird, he's strange. And I say all kinds of stuff. Over the years, I've gotten better. Over the years, I've gotten, but before I was even more so, because, you know, as an artist, you go through phases. You go through periods of inspiration. So you're doing a lot of writing, you're writing a lot of weird stuff, so you say weird stuff. And then you're writing stuff that's more philosophical, so you say philosophical stuff. You know, it's art. I don't expect the police to understand art, because these people don't understand anything other than their pension. So, where was I? I was saying, yeah, if I said something, it doesn't mean if I said I'm gonna, you know, kill 40-year-old Game Boy players, it's just something I said. I say things. I don't do them. That's the difference between me and Andy and the criminals. They say something, they do it. Right. They say they're going to kill somebody, they kill them. I say, if I said I'm going to kill you, I'm not going to kill you. That's the difference. I want people to understand the difference. I want you guys to understand that's the difference. So I can say stuff. And I live in Canada, freedom of expression. I can say whatever I want. You know, unless it's dangerous or something stupid that you shouldn't say. Yeah, if you want to do something really against the law, then that would be taken as serious. But most everything you say is covered under freedom of expression. So that's where I grew up. This is Canada. I am allowed to say whatever I want. And Andy is not the police. Andy is not the judge. He's just a sick person who is infatuated with me. Because I could write and he can't write. He could not stitch two words together. I don't think he even knows how to write. He can, when he does his signature, he just prints his name. So, you know, and I've had this before in the past, people who are jealous or envious that I can do things I know more than they know. They get infatuated. He's infatuated. So I want him to stop saying all this stuff. He's never said it to my face. He's never called me a pedophile or a serial killer or a rapist to my face, but he's told everybody else behind my back. He's a coward. So I wanted to face him. I wanted to say what's going on. I wanted to ask him what's going on. I was going to say, I'm going to ask him what's going on, buddy. So I went up there to ask him what's going on. And then he says to me, you know, that's when he says, don't you know I fucking kill people? And I didn't know. I don't know any killers. I don't know people who kill. I don't know any gang members. I mean, this is why are you doing at Starbucks? In my mind, I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing at Starbucks? You fucking kill people. Go to the pub. Go to your hangout. You shouldn't be here. There's young people here, there's teenagers here, there's old women. You're gonna kill them. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, he's saying this to me, and he's yelling. Okay, I'm not gonna yell. I'm not gonna act it out. But he's a screaming. I said, take it easy, buddy. He's having roid rage. Now this is now it's even worse. Like it's completely out of the context. And then while I'm trying to figure out what's going, he's got these blue eyes. He's got these really nice blue eyes. You would think he's like a nice little boy, you know? No, he's a dangerous man. So he sucker punches me. Right hand, right? Like that. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it. It nearly broke my jaw. Right? I went there to say, what's going on? You've been calling me a fucking pedophile and serial killer for a year. You won't stop. Now you're sucker punching me? Now you're sucker punching me? So he nearly broke my jaw, and he stunned me, and then he got more upset. And he screamed stuff. I kill people! And now he's enraged. Now he's gone from this guy who behaves in public to he's completely exploded. But he's in the wrong. Andy is in the wrong. Andy has been harassing me for a year, and his friends, and his network, his entire network, for 1 year. Okay? 1 year. Not every day. I go every day. He's there 5 days a week. So it's a constant harassment. So he has no hand. I think that's it. He's got no hand. He is wrong. 100% wrong. But this is Andy. He's a big-time gangster. He kills people. He can never be wrong. So he continues to he goes in to kill me. He's a big guy. He knows how to fight. He's killed people before. He pounded. He's got combinations. He's a very heavy set guy. He hits very hard. Not as hard as my mother. I remember my mother. My mother used to hit hard. She used to hit pretty hard. When I was a kid, when we were teenagers, she hit pretty hard. My mother never went to the gym. She never trained boxing. She never exercised. She never did steroids. She never lifted any weights. She never did. But she hit harder than he did. Right? Comparatively, because I was young. Now I'm older. If you were to compare it, my mother hit harder than Andy. Like he's overrated, is what I'm saying. He's an overrated, bloated loser. And he's trying to kill me. So now right? I studied martial arts as a kid, but I had been on this, if anybody knows, since 2015. I woke up in 2005. For 10 years, I've been on a spiritual path. 10 years, and most of that, I don't think I trained at all, because I'm doing meditation. I was doing heavy 10 or 12 hours a day of meditation. I was very spiritual. My diet changed. My whole demeanor changed, right? And initially, when you wake up, you think about love and compassion. You follow some of the ideas of love and compassion, forgiveness, and all of this stuff. So I'm in this bubble of peace and love, you know. Live and let live. That's my thing. Live and let live. You want to do that? That's fine with me. Just don't bring it to me, brother, right? Live and let live. But this guy is like, I'm going to fucking kill you. So I don't have that aggression. I'm not thinking about fighting. I don't want to hurt him. Before I could hurt people. You know, when I was training years ago, I could hurt people. And I had to be careful, because you could really hurt somebody. Because martial arts is different than boxing. Martial arts, you can really harm somebody with one strike. So but now I'm not thinking of hurting him. I'm just thinking of protecting myself. And again, I'm thinking this guy's okay, he's just having an explosion, but he tried to kill me. He tried to murder me right there. He kept going and he stopped and he said something. He said that he did the Surrey 6 killings or something. You know, and that's a very serious thing, or 6 people were murdered. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, it's just complete, everything this guy says is just completely out of touch with reality. He lives in his own reality. I know he's in the gang and he lives on the street. But why are you killing, why are you trying to kill me? Am I a threat? Like, I'm not a threat to you. I'm not trying to kill him. I didn't have a weapon. You know? Why? And I'm thinking after this event, I'm thinking, why the hell are you at Starbucks? You fucking kill people. Why did the police let this fucking guy out? They put him in a zoo. Put the guy in a zoo. You don't want to arrest him, put him in a zoo. Okay? Because that's where he belongs. He belongs in a zoo. All his friends in a zoo. Not at Starbucks. So that went on for several minutes, and he just went at it. And I played defense. And he tied, he did a lot. He had a lot of technique. He tied me up and just went right at it, right for the, he ran right for the soft spots. I kept defending and got out of it, and he went at it again. This guy is like very determined to kill somebody who has not done anything to him, and he is at fault. He did something to me. You should be apologizing. You should be apologizing to me, not trying to kill me. So this is what you're dealing with. These people should not be on the street. He should not be on the street. And for attempted murder, he should be tried in a court for attempted murder. Now, when he attacked me, as soon as he attacked, everybody at Starbucks, everybody split. I've never seen people run so fast in my life. They split, like the whole patio was cleared within seconds. And whoever was left in the store, they ran out. And the baristas, they disappeared. They went behind the counter. Everybody split. Like these guys, they should compete for the Olympics. I mean, they ran. I've never seen anybody run that fast. I'm sitting there. I'm dealing with a complete psychotic on steroids who wants to kill me, and everybody's gone. So it's just me and him, and he goes at it, boom, 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 and he stops, and he's looking at me. He's like, "Why are you still standing?" I'm thinking my mother hit harder than that. And he goes at it again. He comes in again. Like, we're not play fighting. He's trying to kill me. I want to be very clear. Like, he's trying to kill me. This is not a play fight. This is not a joke. He's not pushing. He's hitting as hard as he can. He has given everything he's got. And I am, right? He wraps me up. I get out of it. Boom. Push him back. He was like, normally they're on the ground by now. That's what he's like. Normally, like, they're unconscious or dead. What's going on? He's like, he's kind of confused, right? Because he went at it for three separate bouts, I guess. And then I said I realized, okay, he's not going to stop. Like he's not going to stop until I'm dead. Like, I came to the realization, because I was stunned. Remember when I was hit? He hit me with a very hard right hand, and normally it would have broke my jaw and knocked me out. That would have been over. But for some reason, it didn't. I must have a strong jaw. So I'm stunned. So that's why, if you don't understand, that's why he's still going, because I'm stunned. In the beginning, by the third round, I'm like, I'm getting my senses back. Okay, he's not going to stop. I better get out of here because I'm obviously not going to hit him back. I'm not in a state to really hit him back. I'm not in the frame of mind. I'm not, I don't understand what's going on. Like, this guy just went nuts and just tried to kill me. I don't know it doesn't make any sense. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't know his background. I didn't know that he killed people. I didn't know any of this stuff. Obviously, the people who took off this, they knew some of this stuff, right? Obviously, they know him in the community, but I didn't. So, obviously, you're not supposed to ask him. You're not supposed to ask Andy any questions. If you know Andy, do not ask him any questions because he will try to kill you. He's a very unstable person, right? Like that. Again, on the street, if another gang member is trying to kill you, I understand, but you shouldn't be at Starbucks. This is not the place to kill people. You shouldn't be killing people at Starbucks. That's always been my kind of like, why are you at Starbucks? Starbucks is a nice place. It was a nice place. It's not a nice place. And so I go inside Starbucks. Right? I go inside the door. And then he doesn't come in because there's cameras inside. So I'm saying, okay, I'm here. He won't come in. But he still wants to kill me. Like you can see, he's still like, but he won't come in. So I called the police. He wants to come in, but he knows as soon as he comes in, he's going to get caught. He's going to be on camera. There's going to be a recording. He's going to be arrested. He just tried to kill me. Now he still wants to go on. He's not finished yet. Right? So I called the police. I talked to the police. I said, this is the situation. And the responder is a woman. She says, okay, stay inside the building. She gave me some advice. I had my glasses on. He broke my glasses. The sucker punch broke my glasses. $300. $300. You owe me $300, Andy. $300. Plus there's more. We'll get to that later. But the glasses. He broke my glasses. For no reason. Not only for no reason, because I'm not a threat. There's no reason. But you are in the wrong. Andy was wrong. He should have apologized. He should have apologized. If he was a rational human being. He's not a rational human being. He's an animal. He's an animal. That's why he belongs in a zoo. He should not be at Starbucks. And people shouldn't listen to him. If Andy tells you anything, don't listen to him. Don't believe anything he says, because he manipulates people. He lies, and he manipulates, and he's out of touch with reality. So this is Andy. I didn't know his name. I didn't know. I didn't even know his name. Nobody has ever told me. This is the other thing. I don't know his name. Nobody's ever told me his name. He's never told me his name. The police have never said his name. I've just never. I don't know anybody who knows him, because I don't know crazy people. The crazy people I know, they're intelligent and they talk about conspiracies and alternative ideas and spiritual theories. These guys, they're crazy, but they kill people and destroy lives. It's a very different. It's two different worlds, a completely different reality. Like you have all of this mental power, you have all of this ability and knowledge. You have this potential. You have a potential to be something. And the potential one is to create, and the other potential, the same potential to destroy. And all of these people are destroyers. They destroy lives. They destroy society. They infect society. They are a disease. And the other people, they create, they teach, they share, they enlighten, they awaken. And that's my group. And the police are in the middle, and the police have to go there and throw these people into prison or into the zoo. If you can't get them in the jail, then you take them to the mental institution. If you can't get them in the mental institution, you take them to the zoo. Put them in with the tigers and the lions. Let's see how long they last, because the lion, I can tell you the lion is a killer. You put Andy against the lion will kill him. And the lion is a real killer. The tiger, it will fucking eat you. Andy is a fake tiger. He's not a real tiger. He's a steroid tiger. So the police came. So anyway, about 10 minutes later, he's kind of all antsy, and this black SUV, like a Toyota Highlander, pulls up. And he's kind of looking at me, and he's looking at the truck, and he's looking at me, and looking at the truck. Business is not finished, right? Business is not finished. He's still at it. He goes into the truck. I go up to the window and I check the license plate. So somebody knows, right? Somebody knows Andy's in trouble, and they come to help him. I think it was his mother. I think his mother came to pick him up. And so he destroys and commits this crime and tries to kill me, and then he runs away. You're supposed to apologize for what you did to my life for the last year. And what you did to my life, you should apologize. And now you broke my glasses and you owe me $300. And then the police came 25 minutes later. 25 minutes later. The place is empty. The Starbucks is completely gutted. There's nobody there. And I looked behind the counter, and there's the two baristas. They're kind of like, they've pissed their pants. And then they slowly come up because they see it. They slowly come up and they don't say anything. The police show up. They're kind of dazed, they're like, and the police show up. I tell them what happened. And it's RCMP. And the guy's gone. And so I give him the license plate. But I got one of the letters wrong. I don't have my glasses, so I can't see. I had to focus to see. I couldn't make out all the letters. Because he broke my $300 glasses. And so they run the plates. I got the wrong letter. I said, no, change that letter. And they changed the letter. And then they say it's a black SUV. Yeah, whatever. So then they went and they looked into it. I don't know what they did. But they came back later and they said, well, we can't do anything. I said, I want to press charges. They said, well, we're not going to do anything. I said, so what do you want me to do? I said, go to a different coffee shop. I said, the guy's, he's highly unstable. He's dangerous. He kills people. Go to a different coffee shop. He's gonna go to the different coffee shop. They don't care. The police did not care, didn't do anything. They wouldn't charge him. I don't even think they opened a file. They took some notes, but they wouldn't open a file. So that was it. Now, later, I moved to Vernon. My parents were getting old. My mother was ill. My mother had been in the hospital for 5 months. I found out. She had been in the hospital 5 months. She shattered her leg, And so she shattered her leg and she can't walk. She was in a wheelchair. She was in a wheelchair, but she already survived. She already survived cancer twice. And I was living with her the last time. This is about 2009. She had cancer, second time. And I was living with her through that, 2009, 2010. And she survived that. But then she shattered her leg on the ice. She was getting old, right? She was in her 70s. She was not in great shape. Like I said, she'd never been to the gym. And so she was struggling with that. And then my father he's pretty old and he was having issues. So I came out to the Okanagan. They were both in the Okanagan. In Kelowna and Vernon. And I ended up in Vernon. And I started going to Starbucks in Vernon, and it turns out Andy there's a chapter of his gang in Vernon and Kelowna, and he told them that I should be killed and I should be harassed and that I should be threatened. And like good little robots, they believed everything he said and they followed orders. I think Andy also has family in Vernon, like maybe parents or brother. So he's no stranger. I mean, I went to Vernon because my father was there. I had already been with my mother. So there's no what do you call it? There's no coincidence. Right? There's no coincidence. I'm not trying to do anything or trying to avoid anything. It just happens. That's what happens. So I started going to Starbucks. I went to different coffee shops. I got harassed by gangs. The pedophile gossip started all over again. The serial killer rumors, the rapist, all the same started over again. The guy didn't stop. He didn't change. He didn't stop. He didn't learn. In the movie, you watch a movie, the guy learns, becomes better. No, they don't. Some people cannot learn. Some people cannot become better. Some people, they are the way they are, and that's why they end up in prison. Only problem is the police would not arrest him. To this day, they won't arrest him or his friends. So, wrapping up for this episode, I started to go to particular Starbucks and I befriended, or this barista befriended me. Her name was Sophie. Young girl. They're all young. Everybody who works at Starbucks is young, and most of them are 90% are women. So, I have to speak to young women to get my coffee, And when I talk to people, I like to educate, I like to illuminate, I like to share, enlighten, brighten. So we met. I met a bunch of people there. They're very friendly. Sophie used to come to my table, and we chat. And I didn't find there's no romantic inclination. It's purely platonic. It was business, but it was friendly. She liked some of the stuff I said. She liked the fact that I wrote. She knew the coffee I liked, and so she'd always make me a nice coffee. And so it was a nice welcoming place, which was Starbucks is supposed to be a welcoming place. It's a third place. That's where you go. Perfect. Until Andy and his friends contacted Sophie, and they told her that I am a serial killer, pedophile, and a rapist. And they turned her. And then she went about and told everybody. And every day I came to the coffee shop, if she was working 5 days a week, she was bouncing off the walls, saying things. And she was telling all the colleagues, that guy's a pedophile, that guy's a serial killer. He would say he's a weirdo, he's a creep. Her friends would call me a creep. They would, oftentimes, they would not serve me coffee. They would avoid me. They would turn their backs on me when I went to the coffee shop. Again, I've not done anything. Just to be clear, I've never done anything. And Sophie in particular, I've treated her very nice. I shared information with her. I educated her. Whatever, if you see my videos, I was the same way. I love to share. I love to talk. Vancouver, people talk, So it was a friendly situation that now became dark. She became afraid, and the police got involved, and Sophie told them that I'm stalking her, that I am a bad person, that I make her feel uncomfortable. And meanwhile, she's telling everybody that I'm a pedophile, I'm a serial killer, and I'm a rapist, and I'm a creep, and I'm a bad person. Maybe you think that's no big deal. I don't believe it. I mean, I didn't believe any of it, but people were afraid. Nobody would talk to me. The baristas wouldn't serve me, and I had to file complaint after complaint. This went on for 10 months. Now, I had known Sophie and her other colleagues for a year, and it was great. There was many colleagues I knew them for a year. They would say, "Hi, Parrish," right? "Here's your coffee. How you doing?" When Andy's got his grip on her, she became dark. All the staff became dark. They all believed I was a pedophile and a creep, serial killer, and they felt threatened. And they told the police, "The guys, I don't feel comfortable. He makes me feel uncomfortable." I've never done anything to make them feel uncomfortable. I'm just going there for coffee. I go for my writing. I go there to write. I chat with the staff. I order the coffee, and then I go sit down for 2 hours by myself. I go there to work. I go to the coffee shop. I don't really go. If I go to talk, I don't bring my notepad, because then I'm meeting with a friend of mine. But otherwise, I have a schedule. As a writer, I have a schedule. That's how you write. You write with a schedule. Otherwise, you can't write. Writing is very hard. It's very hard to do, especially if you're not getting paid for it, and if you have to live a normal life. So you have to have a schedule. So I have a schedule. That's my work. I go to work. And these people are sexually harassing me. And they went on for 10 months. And I've filed 25 complaints against these people and against Sophie. And it says, "Please shut up." But the problem is, Andy and his friends, they would manipulate. They would coach her. Say this, say that, right? They would instruct her. If he comes there, say this, do this, right? And she would listen. She's a young girl, and she told all her mates, if you talk to the police, say that he makes you feel uncomfortable, say that he's a stalker, and then the police will protect you, right? Andy knows how to manipulate people. His friends, I saw Sophie talking to this gangster in the parking lot, right? One time in the mall. She's sitting there talking to this dangerous criminal in the parking lot, and he's checking in on her. He's checking in on her. Making sure that she says the right things, making sure. The other thing is that the Andy would say, and this was also in Vancouver, if anything happens, right? They would say, if they would go to the girls, the baristas, and say, if anything happens, we'll protect you. We'll get this guy, right? But first of all, I'm not a threat. Andy is the threat. He's the murderer, who's self-admitted. He's admitted that. He has a history of that. So Andy, the murderer, is telling these girls that the innocent guy over there, if he does anything or says, tell us and we will get him, right? We'll kill him. We'll hurt him, right? Don't be afraid. We'll protect you. We'll protect you. The murderers will protect you from the innocent guy who's not done anything. That's what they convinced him. So they had her controlled. Sophie was controlled, and she's scared to death because now she's being controlled. She knows she's being controlled by these dangerous people. She's not going to say anything. She's not going to say no. I'm the only person who would say no, and I'm the person who gets attacked and abused and threatened and tried to kill me. So Sophie's not going to say no. Nobody's going to say no because they're going to kill her. I am very sure she believed that she's in danger and that they could kill her. So she goes along, right, to my detriment. So I'm in a situation now, if I say something and she says the wrong thing to the guy, they're going to come after me, right? That's just another reason to kill me. And they don't need a reason. And so they'd come after me. I would file, might go a little bit longer. I would file a customer complaint against Sophie, and the next day, my car would be sabotaged, right? So they were monitoring. They knew. She would tell them what happened. She'd be upset. Oh, he filed a complaint against me. I got into trouble. And then they would sabotage my car. They'd drain the antifreeze from my car. A couple of times they drain the antifreeze. The antifreeze protects the engine. The engine gets too hot. It keeps it cool. If the engine gets too hot, it explodes. I was on the highway with no antifreeze. So they destroyed my vehicle. They sabotaged. They siphoned the brake fluid from my car. I almost died. I almost killed people. Because I was making complaints against Sophie, who's now protected by the mafia. For reasons unknown, because the mafia is the threat and danger. And the police are protecting Sophie because I'm apparently her stalker. So when I call the police and tell them what's going on, I'm trying to explain, this is what's happening. You have to wake up. They wouldn't listen. They threatened to arrest me. Says, you call again, we will arrest you. Because they believe I'm the threat. I'm the stalker. And Starbucks is protecting Sophie because they believe I make her feel uncomfortable. I'm the stalker. I've not done anything to this girl or any girl. I've not raped anybody. I'm not a serial killer. I'm not a stalker. I've never been a stalker. I've never molested any children. Nothing. I haven't done anything. Right? And you might think, does this have to do with my work? Right? Because I'm talking about climate weapons. I'm talking about star beings. And there's somebody who wanted to kind of interfere with that. Because that's another method is, right? Destroy his reputation, and then no one's going to listen to this guy anymore, right? That is, that's another discussion. that we might have. But there's not enough evidence. You have to have evidence to support stuff, right? So that is a possibility. If that was the possibility, then Andy would have no interest in that. There would be a third party who would be controlling Andy, right? There'd have to be a third party, a CIA, NSA, undercover as a gang member, who would be controlling Andy, who would be advising Andy. Why don't you do this? You know what I would do in that situation? I would do this. That guy's he's smart. You got to do this. Yeah, I had a problem with that before. Let me help you out. That guy's, he's probably undercover something. But we don't know that. Well, we can surmise. Because Andy himself, unless Andy is, Andy's working for the CIA, or the police, then that would be the motivation disguised as just a criminal act. In any case, these are criminal acts, threats, attempted assassination, sabotaging a vehicle, following people to their house. These are all crimes. So it doesn't matter. What I'm saying, the relationships or the true face of these people is irrelevant in the context of crime. The crime is a crime, right? Even if Andy's an undercover police, he's still committing a crime. You're not immune to a crime. No one is above the law. Well, yeah. The police are above the law. So anyway, I'm fighting the police, I'm fighting Starbucks, and I'm fighting organized crime. Meanwhile, I have my own personal life, what's left of it, and it becomes very difficult, right? Because they went after my job. They got me fired from my job. They got me evicted from my houses. They destroyed all my relationships. They sabotaged my life. They've threatened to kill me. They made other attempts to kill me, which we'll get into. But sabotaging my brakes, that's attempted murder. The police didn't believe me, but that's what it is. It's attempted murder. Can I prove it in a court beyond reasonable doubt? No. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose is you crash your car and you die, and they find out, well, he had no brake fluid. Died by accident. No, he didn't die by accident. Somebody took out the brake fluid. Let's try to end it with this one. I took my vehicle to the mechanic. First of all, I went to the mechanic. I said, "Is anything wrong with my brakes?" Nothing wrong with your brakes. There's no leak. There was no leak in the lines. There's no wet spots. Nothing. I went to the police and I brought the picture of the empty brake fluid holder. What do you call it? The canister. And I said to the cop, and they had there was a RCMP had a police officer who used to be a mechanic for 25 years. So 25-year mechanic who then became an RCMP officer. He came out. Okay, I went to the station because it's serious. And there's been all these attempts already. I said, okay, we need to talk to the police. So I said to the police, this is what happened. He says there's a perfectly natural explanation for it. There's a mechanical explanation for it. I've been in the business. I've been a mechanic 25 years. I say, in the 25 years you've been a mechanic, has the brake fluid suddenly disappeared for no reason at all? He says, no. So don't you find that strange? Well, there's a perfectly rational explanation for the brake fluid disappearing. I said, I went to the mechanic. There's nothing wrong with my brakes. He says, there is a perfectly, he kept saying that for 20 minutes. I said, yeah, there is, but there's not in this case. In 25 years, have you ever seen this before? No. So in 25 years, this has never happened. Isn't it strange? He refused to accept my theory. And later, my car was sabotaged even more time. We'll get into it in a later episode. Like, it doesn't stop. What I'm saying is, the reason I go to the police, the reason I filed complaints against Sophie, so that they stop. But she wouldn't stop. Because Andy's telling her, listen, do this, do this, do this, don't worry. This is what you say to the police. This is what you say to your boss. They're going to go after him. Anything happens, we got lawyers. We'll fucking protect you. We'll kill the guy. Like, these guys are, they're just completely out of touch with reality. They think they control everything. They cannot accept defeat. They cannot accept reason. They cannot accept morality. They cannot accept, enough is enough. They can't accept, they don't understand that. Gotta keep destroying until everything is destroyed. That's what they are. And that's the symptom. I'm not a psychiatrist, but in my opinion, that's the symptom of a delusional person, a dangerous person who belongs inside of an institution and should be on medication, in my opinion. If only I was a psychiatrist. They're psychiatrists. The police are psychiatrists all of a sudden. They got PhDs. The RCMP, I've met many psychiatrists. They want to be psychiatrists in the RCMP force. They want to be a psychiatrist. I said, are you a psychiatrist? No. The mechanic who can't accept the fact that somebody siphoned the brake fluid out. So this is what I'm dealing with. I'm trying to live a life. I'm trying to work a minimum wage job and to do my work. And I'm dealing with this whole other life, which has taken, it's like 2 full-time jobs. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous and it's crazy. And it hasn't ended. I can't stop it. I've tried everything. I just want people to know. I have tried everything to stop it. I took Starbucks to the Human Rights Tribunal. You know what they did? They lied. They denied everything. They denied everything and they got out of it. And the reason I took them there, so they would stop. Because after all of the sexual harassment, on March 1, 2018, Starbucks, the district manager, Parker, calls me up and says, you're banned. I'm banning you from Starbucks. She kicked me out. These guys have been sexually harassing me for 10 months. And they've denied it to the boss, and the boss is protecting all these women. And the police are coaching the company because they're saying this guy is a threat. So on March 1, 2018, I was banned from Starbucks. The Starbucks that I've been going through all these years. to think that I'm going there to stalk somebody. I've been going to Starbucks before they were born. I don't go to stalk people. I go there because I go there to work. I go there to write. You just happened to be there. You were born after me. You were born after I started going to Starbucks. I've been going to Starbucks longer than these people have been alive. I'm not going to Starbucks for you. I'm going to Starbucks because that's what I've been doing for over 20 years. So I was banned. And then they were attacking me outside of Starbucks, which we'll get into. And then later that year, later in 2018, December, I filed a human rights complaint, which eventually would be dismissed because the tribunal is protecting Starbucks too. The tribunal protected Starbucks. The tribunal is protecting women. The tribunal doesn't care if there's discrimination. So what I'm saying is, the reason I call the police is because I want them to stop. The reason I make a complaint with Starbucks because I want Sophie and her friends to stop, and they don't stop. The reason I go to the tribunal because I want Starbucks to stop and don't ban me from Starbucks. Why are you banning me? You should ban those people. You should fire some of these people. I want that to stop. You'll see as we go along if I remember everything. Everything I'm doing, I'm just trying to stop it. I can't stop it. When I went to talk to Andy, I said, listen, you got to stop. I was going to say that. I didn't get a chance to say that because he tried to kill me. I've never dealt with this kind of insanity. These are fucking insane people. That's what they are. The police are fucking twice insane. I go to the police. They want to arrest me because I'm saying things about organized crime. That's your fucking job. If I go to the police, I say organized crime is doing X. The first thing you do is you heard organized crime, we're on it. We'll be on it in the next 2 hours. Okay? That's the police. I come to you and says, I think it's organized crime. I'm not sure. You are on it 2 hours. I got a task force for organized crime. You don't start calling me crazy. You don't start threatening to arrest me. You get on it. You don't come to the police and make things up about organized crime. You get on it. Because if you don't get on it, you encourage them. You are sponsoring these criminal acts, and these people want me dead. And that's why I believe the police want me dead. By their actions, inaction, by their apathy, by their stupidity, by their negligence, they want me dead. And criminal negligence is part of it. As soon as, it doesn't matter about me now because it's too late. If somebody calls the police and uses the key word, I think they are members of organized crime. Those two words, organized crime. The police has to put somebody on the case right away, within hours. A task force. Find out if it is, who it is, what's going on. Not to threaten to arrest the guy. You don't threaten to arrest the guy if organized crime is trying to kill him. It's like, these guys are trying to kill me. We're going to arrest you. It's like that old joke. What's that old joke? If you're caught between a guy who wants to shit on your face or throw up in your face, you turn left or you turn right. What's that joke? Yeah. Because if you turn left, they shit on your face. If you turn right, they throw up in your face. So, what do? You got to turn. Do you like shit or do you like barf? It's pretty crazy. I still don't get it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm sharing it at this point. I've been sharing it. I've wrote a number of Facebook posts talking about this and going into all kinds of detail, which I'm talking about. I went into the legal aspects of it, which we may get into. But it hasn't stopped. The reason I write the Facebook post is so it will stop, so that the police maybe get involved, that the police will start to arrest some of these people. They won't do it. They will not touch. You understand my point? 10 years, because the first year I didn't call anybody. So 10 years, I'm telling the police, you have to arrest these people. You have to. They won't do it. They're going to arrest me. The police right now are after me. The police are after me. They want to arrest me, and which we'll get into, that the organized crime is feeding them information to have me incriminated. They're trying to get rid of me. They're using now the police. They're manipulating the police, the RCMP and the police and the undercover police to come after me. They manipulated just the way they manipulated Sophie and all the community. Now they're manipulating the police. The police can't see what the hell's going on. They don't know. The police don't know what's going on. So I'm going to tell everybody here, and I want you to know what's been going on, what I've been dealing with. It's a lot. I don't know how much we'll get into. Obviously, this is a first episode. Maybe we'll split it so that it's, or maybe not. Maybe we'll do the full 2 hours. We'll do the full 2 hours. Maybe that. You can watch it. If you watch it, that's up to you. But it's there. It's there now. And then we'll see if we'll do some more. We'll get into some specifics. There's been 10 assassination attempts. From attempted murder to car sabotage. I've had some near-death experiences. And it doesn't stop. Now I got the police I got to deal with. They won't stop. I've asked them to stop. They won't stop. But I don't go to Starbucks. I was banned again from Starbucks, so I'm banned twice. And I lost a tribunal case, so I can't go to Starbucks. I haven't been to Starbucks. I have not been to Starbucks in 8 years, almost 8 years. 2018. So I was banned on March 1, 2018. So we are 2025. 7 years. Well, in 3-4 months it'll be 8 years. 8 years of ban, and I've not done anything. I have not done anything. I've just asked these people to stop. I don't understand it. I ask you, if somebody says to you, stop, you got to stop. Shut up. Shut up. That's the thing. Shut up. Right? And if I ask the police to the police are going to tell them to stop. If you don't stop, we're going to put you in jail. They won't do that. So there's some grim stuff that's happened about my life's been trashed, and I've been fired from my job several times. I've been evicted several times, so there's a huge economic loss. I've lost over $100,000 just from loss, from courts, and loss and damage to my vehicles, and replacing vehicles, all that. So there's a huge cost, relocation, moving, storage, it's all a cost. So there's a huge cost. And it hasn't stopped. The thing is, it hasn't stopped. It won't stop. It's like the Energizer Bunny. You have stupidity. And it's just not something. It's just to make a sense. If I wrote a story, if I wrote this movie, nobody would believe it. They would walk out in the first half hour. That doesn't make any sense. Why would the police arrest you if you called them about organized crime? But that's what happened. Why would this guy try to kill you if you've never done anything to him? You don't know him. You never threatened him. And he's harassing you for a year. Why would Sophie go out and tell everybody you're a pedophile if she has no evidence that you did anything? You've never hurt a child in your life. You never killed any people in a series of killings. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. These people don't make sense. So here, you get to listen to it. Whatever you believe, I don't really care. I don't care what the fuck you believe. I don't care if you support them or support me. I don't fucking care. I'm gonna tell you the way it happened, and that's the way I believe it happened. That's my opinion. That's what really happened. Whether you like me or not, I don't really fucking care. Because, if history is evidence, that there's a lot of really sick people out there. There's a sickness. This is a sickness, You think talking about extraterrestrials was hard. This is a lot harder. reason, rationality, logic. Fuck. Forget about it. There's no reason. There's nothing. It's a sickness. It's an undiagnosed illness. That's what it is. It's widespread. I mean, this is why there's no disclosure, because the world is sick. It's a sick place. If you look at it, if you look closely, if you look at it, there's no logic, there's no reason. They're animals. You know, we're just animals, you know. People are just like animals. And they think they're normal. They think they're doing the right thing. The animals think they're doing the right thing. When the animal thing, when the nutcase is thinks they're doing the right thing, we got a problem. We got a lot of problems. And my whole life is about experience. I share the experience. This is what happened. And people's like, well, I've never had that before. But this is what happened. I'm not, I don't have to embellish. This is what happened. I might, in some cases, many times, I try to kind of, to kind of filter some of the stuff, because it's just so crazy, right? I may be filtering some of the stuff now because it's pretty crazy, but it gets crazier. It gets a lot crazier. And it's at a huge cost. It's been a huge cost to my life, which costs I can't get back. I can't fix what they've done. There's, they broke into my house. They got videos of me. I can't fix it. I can't erase it. I can't change it. The money lost is gone. It's a huge cost. So, but it makes a good story. I wanted to share it. I think I've been kind of, I always thought people would come to their senses. I really did. Somebody would come to their senses. Somebody would say something, so they'd say the right thing. The police would finally do something. I always believed that, it's like that, the battered woman syndrome, the woman in a bad marriage. I always thought one day he's gonna apologize and treat me nice. No, the guy's gonna fucking kill you. Your husband will fucking kill you. He will not wake up. I think it's that. It's that case where these people are just fucking nuts, and they think they're normal. They think I'm the bad guy. They believe that. Get him. Talk to Andy, okay? Andy. Tell him, what do you think about Paris? Ask him, what do you think about Paris? He will tell you all the craziest things you've ever heard in your life. And there is not enough evidence to support his crazy ideas, okay? There is not enough evidence. And where there's not enough evidence to support your beliefs, that's called a delusion. It's a delusional belief. That's what it is. And even if I was a bad guy, even if I was a bad person, it's not your job. Andy, it's not your job. It's not the job of the gangsters. It's not the job of Starbucks employees to decide how I should behave. It's not the job of the police to decide what I should say. They have no right, because it's a free country. Canada, freedom of expression, life, liberty, and the security of the person is protected by the charter. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And you got no say. Andy has no say. Starbucks has no say. Sophie has no say. The police, the RCMP have no say in how I live my life. None. No say at all. Zero. Unless I commit a crime. Unless you can prove I committed a fucking crime, you got no fucking say. If you intercede in my rights, you violate my rights because you are fucking crazy, then you're a vigilante. You're a vigilante, and vigilantism is a crime. Just like hate crime. If you hate somebody and you try to destroy them, that's a hate crime. Maybe this is all a hate crime, and it should be tried in court. Maybe this is vigilantism, and that should be tried in court, into vigilantism. The police are not above the law. The police cannot be vigilantes. The police cannot tell me what to do. The police cannot support organized crime. That's a crime. Their duty is to stop crime. They're supposed to arrest these people. You violating your duty, that's dereliction of duty, that's a crime. What I'm saying is, just to be clear, under the Constitution, which in Canada is called the Charter of Rights, I can do and say whatever I want. If I commit a crime, it's up to the police to deal with it. You go to Andy should call the police, and the police deal with it. If Andy reports a false crime and he tries to incriminate me, if Sophie told the police that I'm a stalker and I'm not a stalker, if other people made false complaints against me to the police, then that's called public mischief. That's a crime. Right? You cannot falsely incriminate somebody. You cannot try to get somebody arrested who hasn't committed a crime, which is the case. Then the police should arrest those people. If they're acting as vigilantes and trying to kill me, then they should be arrested for vigilantism. Forget about murder. Andy tried to kill me in 2015. There's no time limit on attempted murder. He should be tried. Put him in court. I will testify. I will testify. I will sign a deposition. I might be the only guy. But that's what he did. I was there. Maybe we should do that. You understand legally, I'm saying legally, my rights are protected under the Charter. If I said something that sounded weird, the police can't arrest me for it because it's protected under freedom of expression. The Andy can't kill me for it because that'd make him a vigilante, and then that's a crime. It's a democracy, folks. I should be able to live my life. If I go to a job, I shouldn't be fired because Andy threatened to do something, right? Starbucks shouldn't be banning me for no reason at all, because that's against the Human Rights Code. That's a human rights violation. I'm a threat to your staff? Well, why? Because I'm an older, stereotypical male. If I was a woman, you wouldn't ban me. So that's where it eventually gets into. It gets into the law. And the highest law in Canada is the Canadian Charter. The police cannot violate the Charter. They cannot, and they have violated the Charter. I've said that. They have violated the Charter. They continue to violate the Charter. They cannot act. If they violate the Charter and they act, then the act puts the whole administration of justice into disrepute. So then none of that will stand in any court. None of what they do, they've wasted millions of dollars. They've wasted $5 or $6 million working for on behalf of the mafia in violation of the Charter. So, everything's protected. I'm saying, if I'm a serial killer, you got 3 dead bodies and there's a pattern and you got my fingerprints, go to the police. Andy, if you have that evidence, or any of your fucking friends, go to the police and say, he's a serial killer, there he is. go. Okay? I encourage you to go. But if you made it up, and if you're trying to frame me, and the fingerprints are fake, then you're going to go to jail. You cannot falsely incriminate somebody. Remember that. I encourage you to go, but I know there's no evidence, so you're going to go to jail. Or your friend, because you're going to send your friend. You're going to send your friend because you're not going to get your hands dirty. You know, Starbucks should go to jail for cooperating with organized crime, which is a crime. Association is a crime. Whether you know it or not, that's a crime. What I'm saying is, what I'm ending this with, I'm saying, there are laws, I have rights, and those have been violated, laws have been broken. And if you want to continue, you're breaking the law, and then you should go. You should be punished. Punishment is deterrence. These people have not been punished, so there's no deterrence. So without deterrence, they're encouraged. You're sponsoring this stuff. Maybe these are hate crimes, because they hate me. Right? I don't know all about hate crime, but the hate crime is when you hate somebody and you try to destroy them. You try to kill them. That's a hate crime. That's vigilantism. If Andy thinks I'm a pedophile and all his friends think I'm a pedophile and they want to kill me or hurt me or get me fired from my job, that's vigilantism. That's a crime. It's against the law. So they should be punished. They should be punished. As you cannot do that to this guy, and there should be a punishment. And the punishment is a deterrence, right? The judge issues a punishment to deter the action. So if these guys are vigilantes, if they don't want to use all the other crimes, they're vigilantes, you're charged under vigilantism, and then they give them a punishment. Okay, well, we can give you jail time, or we're going to give you probation. And then they're going to be deterred. They're going to be deterred from continuing the behavior. And if the behavior continues, then the punishment will increase. Until now, there's no punishment at all. Because the police, they want to punish me. I need the help of the police. They're punishing me. They want to throw me in jail. They're trying to build a case. They were going to arrest me only several months ago on just fake charges. Because, some police are corrupt. I've just had enough. I'm telling everybody what's happening. This is what's happening. I can't do that. I can't fight all these fucking people anymore because I've had enough of it. It's starting to bother me, and now you need to know. I want you to know. Just like I want you to know about the other stuff, I want you to know about this. What you do with it is up to you. I want you to, at least you're going to know. This is what happened. This is what's happening. They need help. It's a sickness. I believe ultimately it's a sickness. Whether it's a human sickness or it's just human nature, or whether people are just stupid and gullible. If I was Christian, I would say they're evil, but I don't believe that evil. I think that, it's the ills of society, That's why now I have a whole different viewpoint. When I'm writing stories, I portray people in a very realistic light. There's some people are fucking nuts. There's nothing good about them. Even though they're successful and they got money, they're fucking assholes. That's what I put in my story. I put it because some people are just terrible people. Even good people, underneath, they're terrible people. The mask. Once you take off the mask, they're terrible people. So it's it's a human nature. Is a human nature. I haven't gotten that far yet. Maybe we'll get to that part in the end. I don't know if I can make that conclusion. But there's a lot of people. Either there's a lot of crazy people, or this is human nature, right? There's not enough medication. We need some new pills. We need some new medicines. Maybe that's it. I don't know if there is a medicine. Is there a medicine? Is there a medicine that says stop fucking harassing this man? And whatever you do at this point is harassment. So stop. Can they understand that? Can the police go to this guy and say, stop fucking harassing this man? I'm not doing nothing. Stop fucking harassing this man, or there's going to be punishment. Can they go to Sophie and say, stop talking about this man? Can she stop? I don't think so. I do not believe they can. It's 10 years. 10 years. No, stop. They can't stop. You can't reason with any, you can't reason. You go to the zoo, you talk to the tiger and say, hey, listen, don't, be careful. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's going to bite your head off. Because the animal has no instinct, has no reason. Animal is instinct. There's no reason, no logic, no morals. Right? Doesn't have that. Maybe that's what they are. Maybe they're just animals that look human. And they'll never change. All of these people, if you know these people, they will never change. Do not ever think they will become better people. I've written these people off a long time ago. I never thought in my life that I would get to that point, because I've always had a hope for people, all people. I have a hope. They're going to get it one day. They will not get it. They will die. Animals.